Hello everybody, I am Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and we got a new Legend of Zelda game announcement. And it's a 2D game. Okay, well, technically not 2D if you want to be, but actually about it. But you know what I mean, right? The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, where the name of the series is no longer clickbait, and we get to actually play as Zelda this go-around. And I'm so glad that they're reusing the Link's Awakening remake's art style. It's really charming and I think really fits with this style of Zelda game. And I'm more blown away than anything that this isn't a remake. I thought if we would see another game in this style, it would be a remake of something like Minish Cap or the Oracle games, something along those lines. I was never expecting a full-blown new game, and I can't be happy about that. Now, I think it's fair to say there's a number of really fair concerns in regards to the combat for this game. However, it seems, much like a lot of other Zelda games, and especially these 2D ones, it's more so focused on the sense of adventure and utilizing a whole bunch of tools in your toolkit to solve and explore the world and various puzzles. And I can't help it, the more and more I just think about this game and go back to watch the trailer over and over again, I just walk away more optimistic in regards to it. I think especially for a series like The Legend of Zelda, it can be really easy to fall into the pitfall where you always rank the games and what game's better than the other one, and if it's not number one or top 3, then it's inherently garbage. I don't believe that Echoes of Wisdom will be my favorite Zelda game. That honor goes to Majora's Mask. But it looks like a really interesting take on Zelda. Whereas Link is the hero with the Triforce of Courage, so naturally he would have a sword and a shield and do battle in that regard. Zelda has the Triforce of Wisdom, or is associated with wisdom, hence the name of the game. So she's using this creative ecosystem and the player's own, well, wisdom and creativity to solve these puzzles and progress the game. I think it has a ton of potential. It could really easily devolve to where the ecosystem feels too limiting and you can't summon as many as you could or could imagine, and you're limited to only a few echoes and it could become boring in that regard. I was talking about it by Discord a day or two ago. Someone bounced out the idea, what if you gain an extra mana slot when you complete a dungeon? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that could really easily work. If you look at the trailer, you have this little companion guy, and his tail is composed of various triangles, and that is the resource used to summon in these echoes. Basically, if you play Tears of the Kingdom, you know how you could use fusion with various pots in the world, or just monster pots, or items and whatnot. Well, it's similar in that philosophy, but extremely different as well. So essentially what you're doing is you're going around the world, acquiring the echo of either items or monsters in the world, and you can then summon those items with mana, or these little triangle resource doodads. So you can summon beds or tables to platform your way up a cliff, or across a ravine, or to summon monsters to do battle with other monsters, because it's Zelda, she doesn't have a sword. I was kind of hoping she would bash things over the head with the stick. That would have been kind of funny to say, but who knows, I doubt they revealed everything here. But honestly, one of the things I'm looking forward to the most in regards to Echoes of Wisdom isn't even Echoes of Wisdom. It's the fact that Nintendo and Zelda as a whole are still willing to do these smaller games. After the success, the massive success of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, there was a genuine concern by myself and many others that that would be all Zelda is from now on. And myself and many others who really do enjoy these older style Zelda games, even if you really enjoyed Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you may still long for the days, or at least an entry akin to something like Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, or an older style 3D game, and Echoes of Wisdom is essentially Nintendo saying, yeah, we're still willing to do these games. And not just do remakes, we're willing to make new experiences. We're not content with just making this a simple formula and churning these things out like it's a factory line. We're willing to try new things and just see what sticks. Oh, you like some of this philosophy from Tears of the Kingdom with utilizing everything you can find in this world to your advantage in one way or the other in terms of your creativity and how you can apply it? Okay, well, let's try this with Echoes of Wisdom. Give you all these echoes at your disposal like it's a Kirby's Mouth situation solution where you just shove whatever you want in there, and you can just take it out and utilize that tool to solve the puzzle however you deign to solve it. I think where this game could really shine is if the solutions to these puzzles aren't just cookie cutter. It should be like Tears of the Kingdom, where you can come up with a unique solution to whatever problem is posed to you by the game. Let me be dumb and silly and for that to somehow work to my advantage. And even in this trailer, they're showing a couple of scenes where, yeah, that's pretty creative. Oh, there's a pit full of monsters, well, summon an enemy that aggroes all of them and scares them. Then maybe you could go down there and summon, well, quite frankly, any echo that does damage and clean house while they're all in fear of the other guy you just summoned. Simple, but effective. One of the things they talked about in the Echoes of Wisdom trailer is how everyone's playthrough should be different and how you apply these echoes, so I'm optimistic that the solutions to these puzzles and encounters won't be cookie cutter, because I think it's extremely easy to have concerns about Echoes of Wisdom, especially when it concerns the combat, because essentially you're just summoning things to do battle, you're not the one doing battle. If they're not careful, that could be really boring after a while, though there did seem to be some summons that you actively controlled, like one that fired a cannon, or the Beyblade guys that you just point in a direction and say go. So there are some echoes where you take direct control, and again, I'm glad to see that. Funnily enough, in one of the most lauded Nintendo Directs we've had in a while, I think it's Echoes of Wisdom that is the game that I walk away from the most satisfied to see. I'm a big fan of The Legend of Zelda, and while I do enjoy Breath and Tears, I'm glad that the series is not only becoming those games. Let those games exist and continue to exist, but there's equal room for these smaller Zelda projects to take an idea, a gameplay mechanic, and just run with it. It doesn't need to be the biggest budget game ever. It doesn't need to push the Switch of all things to the limits of what it can physically pump out. Have a game with a charming art style, an interesting premise, innovative game mechanics, and just see what happens. Maybe it fizzles out and just kind of sputters and dies, and a few years down the line we won't think much of it, or it can become really special. Funnily enough, I think of all the games at the Nintendo Direct, this is the one game I would want to play the most. I loved what I played of Link's Awakening's remake. I thought the graphic style was extremely charming, and I loved it for that kind of game, and this is continuing in that style. Yeah, this isn't a video where I'm gonna bring to the table some, like, hot take or some big critique about it. No, this is just positive to me. I'm happy to see that this is being made. I'm happy to see that Zelda's the protagonist here, because that can bring to the table an interesting idea, premise, and seemingly interesting game mechanics that could feel unique to her. These 2D Zelda games always had a charm inherent to their own that I never found translated to 3D quite as well as it did in 2D. When you couple it with this art style that's very glossy and shiny, and almost as if you made these characters and models from clay, I think it translates extremely well. I want to play it. It's as simple as that. I don't think it'll be the best Zelda game of all time, but it doesn't need to be. I'm glad they're willing to try something new. It looks interesting, and I want to play it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you optimistic about this game like I am, and now Zelda's future like I am because this game even exists to begin with? Are you pessimistic? Are you looking forward to it? Or are you not looking forward to it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. Just watching the trailer, it seems as if each monster and summon that you do with the ecosystem has its own inherent mana cost, for lack of a better phrase. So in this one scene near the end of the trailer, the glowy guy has about 4 mana triangles, and summoning a mob, or the specific mob, requires 2. So I imagine it'd be a case where tougher and tougher mobs require more mana, and weaker mobs require less. So do you want to overwhelm a group of enemies with numbers, or do you want to bring in the big guns? It's really simple, but I tend to find Zelda thrives on simplicity. I want to see more. I want to play more of this game. Heck, I just want to play the game to begin with. So thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.